Peace, world. What's good? Little pay me no mind. Sports talk. Getting on here late. Actually, trying to make some upgrades to the setup here. Get the big pop filter out of my face and just look cleaner. So that's that. So I just wanted to get a look at it, see if it was worth my research and cash and whatnot. Hmm, We'll see. So, everybody's, all the shows have already gone in with their I'm gonna move that to the other side. All the sports talk shows, the big boys have already gone in all day on what played out last night with the big games. The big night for women basketball showcasing Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Paige Beckers from UConn, as well as Juju Watkins and her girls from USC last night. I'm not gonna lie, the USC game was kind of and UConn. I paid a little less attention to it. No disrespect, Beckers was balling. She dropped 28, and that was actually my first time getting getting to watch her hoop. So it was cool to finally see what the two fan bases, those that lift up Paige Beckers and praise her over Caitlin. It was good to finally see the differences in their games. Unfortunately, well, not fortunately, Caitlin Clark just really delivered very early. I really didn't care for I know she plays with a bit of an edge, some swagger. She's a bit of an entertainer at times. She's kind of embraced that, but that the behind the back pass into the lane, as I don't know if it was Stokey who was cutting or Kate Martin, but I'm like, come on, come on, Caitlin. It's it's not that easy out here. I mean, I know you lighting Van Lith out. I know you putting her to the sword tonight, but damn, behind the back bounce pass into the as the cutter is running down the middle of the lane, and it's things like that. I mean, same thing with Caleb Williams, right? The knock against him is all the off schedule stuff and the improvising and extending plays, and it's like you're gonna have to leave like all of that behind in college. Won't fly in the NFL. Obviously, Caitlin won't take some of these chances, won't put the ball in harm's way at the next level. And regular season game is possible. But anyway, man, 41 points, 9 3-pointers, 7 rebounds, 12 assists. I mean, she dropped a dozen dimes, and I think 7 or 8 of them were super impressive. They just had too much for LSU. Even going into that game, and I hadn't seen LSU a ton this year, but the two girls last year, the two wing players that they had, one of them had the blonde hair or lighter colored hair, or something. Didn't miss much in the championship games. It was the two perimeter players that really drove the blowout last year. This group right here, not as deadly, not as lethal from behind the arc. And when you have a player that hits 9 3-pointers, uh, now and it was a high scoring game, 90 whatever to 80 something, mid 90s, the mid 80s or whatever it was. Uh, but yeah, you know, hell of a game, hell of a game. She got a couple of steals, the rebounding. She doesn't come off the floor. Like I said, I don't know what was going on with Van Lith. I've seen some, you know, the morning after, a lot of people questioning Mulkey's decision to leave Van Lith on her as the primary defender, even though she got cooked all night. Even Flage wasn't at times seen to be a little disappointed with Van Lith. Van Lith didn't have a good night. She didn't have a good night at all. Uh, Offensively, I thought shot some questionable balls, and even when she did shoot, sometimes she didn't really seem to shoot it with a lot of confidence, and she just really didn't leave a mark on the game. I don't know what the plus minus was for her or anything, but she just didn't. She didn't have a great night. Transferring over from Louisville and was dispatched by Caitlin and the Lady Hawkeyes last year. So that's that. I'm looking at the USC game. And a very workman-like game from Angel Reese. Um, she scored a lot, a few blocks, a few big blocks. She fouled out though. She fouled out with 90 seconds or something left, and needing 3-point plays, or needing 3-point baskets with the double-digit lead, getting late in the game. She wasn't going to be the one to go to anyway. But I'm just amazed, for her to say that she used to be a guard, or she was a guard in high school. And with her being at the end of her junior year, I believe there's a red shirt in there or whatever it is. I know she started off in Maryland, at least 2 years at LSU now, but she could do herself a service by adding a mid-range game. She doesn't seem to have any kind of face-up game whatsoever. But she can drive to the basket here and there, but just no kind of. It's like all putbacks, all putbacks and like garbage buckets, tip ins or whatever. It's like all effort, and it's like you can make this game a little easier on yourself by adding some skill, by working on some skill. Um, so I'm just dumbfounded that that hasn't been a priority to add that type of uh to add that wrinkle to her game. But she hustled all night. She was in double digits in the first half, if not in the first quarter. Um, she just didn't have, that very inconsistent shooting all night from behind the arc. And Morrow, she seemed like she missed a lot of shots. Uh, Flage had a pretty decent game. I can't think of the other player's name, but great game. And it was the matchup. It was the rematch from last year, and Clark just put it on him. She did everything, and I think the same thing moving forward as they go against UConn. I think they can win it all. So she's gonna need to do what she did last night. Give her, be within 7 points of that, 7 to 8 points of that. She accounts for that much of their offense, but um, so long as along the way, Kate Martin scores some buckets here and there, Afflotter, Stokey add a couple. It would help if she makes her shots in the lane and in traffic and everything. But the key is kind of Kate Martin. Uh, Marshall, she's usually guarding the best offensive player for most of the night. She's averaging under 9 points. She's not but if she can make the one or two threes that she can make, that helps. But I like their chances. Clark really seems to excel on the big stage, so I would expect her to continue to show up. She plays with a lot of confidence. She believes the next one is going in. She doesn't take a ton of bad shots. She just misses some here, and just like everybody, she misses some here and there. But and she provides the emotional spark for everybody. So I think they have a chance. South Carolina and NC State, I really haven't got many eyeballs on NC State. And South Carolina is just a well balanced team. They're physical. Uh, they play defense. They're well coached and driven by Coach Staley. So that's that. Now the knock has been, most of the sports guys, most of the sports podcast or the podcasters and TV guys want to tell you that, except for Clark Kellogg, Kenny Smith, and Chuck, a lot of these guys want to tell you that the men's bracket, and I know the men's bracket might not have the numbers, you might not have the marquee names in the box office, you might not have that real box office performer over there, but I've seen some phenomenal basketball. The Clemson big guys were played good ball, and even their surrounding, their perimeter players were good. Um, Sears for Bama. He's almost like a college basketball Brunson, a version of Brunson. Shorter guys dribble the hell out of the ball, but can score it and run the team. But Bama's a joy to watch. Who knew? A football school. But Bama's been really really interesting and has scored a lot of points. UConn is just, a 30-0 run the other night in what was a competitive game against the Illini. 30 to 0 run. And that game it was a good game, and then they came out in the second half, and it just got uglier about a minute, and 30-0, and the game was out of reach. But they're well coached. They execute beautifully. All the the passes into the post entry passes and the reposting, the seals, guys with they drop the ball into these guys and they actually have a go-to move. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Because everybody on the court is important on all of these teams. Like all five guys are contributing. So like, yeah, I didn't know a lot of these guys' names, back in Christmas time and whatnot, and maybe even a month ago. But yeah, Bama's been great. Head coach Nate Oates, he's doing his thing. Just imagine, no way that Brandon Miller would have stayed on campus in Tuscaloosa another year based on what he's been doing in the NBA this season as a rookie. But imagine if they had him for a second year. So that's phenomenal that they were able to lose a top 5 pick, top 3 pick or whatever, and come back and be this strong, bringing over Nelson from out west. The DJ Burns story is a good one, mini Zach Randolph or whatever you want to call him. And everything that they've done for Coach Keith. What is it, 9 games in some 22 days or whatever. At some point in time, we're like 17 and 14 or whatever on the season, and here they are in the fourth, in the Final Four. You just hope that they just like the glass shoe doesn't, the clock doesn't strike midnight on them. But they're playing great ball, and they're playing confident. They're a much different team than what they were, a few weeks ago. So and it's a good matchup for them with Purdue. Good to see Purdue finally make it through Coach Painter. Zach Edey, complaining about being looked over, and now people gotta recognize who he is and what he's about. See him putting up 40. Again, here's a guy going to him in the post, getting high percentage shots, and the supporting cast coming through when needed. So, but yeah, the defense, very unfortunate break for Houston to lose Shed for most of that game, all of the second half, or nearly all of the second half. Yeah, he got hurt right before halftime, and they brought him out, tried to bring him out kind of like a decoy, when obviously he wasn't going to be able to go, but get back in. But and then they still battled Duke, down to the end of the game. And it was through execution and guys stepping up. So yeah, I saw a number of different players this year on the men's bracket who I was not aware of throughout the regular season. You know, didn't have a ton of interest in the men's bracket. They don't have the name recognition, of Caitlin Clark and Juju and Hannah Hidalgo and Notre Dame. And then, 32 undefeated team, 36, 37-0 now, South Carolina. They didn't have those same major headlines over there. But the basketball, if you're a fan of basketball and everything that we complain of, another thing, last thing, and I'll get out of here. But even to see the games officiated the way that they have, and the fact that you see so many key players who have to sit down with 12, 13, 14 minutes to go in the first half, but you get that second foul, you have to go over there and sit down. Now we can't get this type of officiating in the NBA because you can't pay $400, $10,000 for those courtside, whatever that is. Nobody pays for professional games to go and see the elite guys riding the bench. So that's one thing that puts the NBA referees in a bad predicament is people expect the superstars to be on the court. Here in these college games, we've seen key player after key player. That's what undid the Clemson Tigers. Both of their bigs got in foul trouble and had to be set down. The Nelson kid for Bama had to be sat down a lot of the last game against Carolina, I think. UConn, it just doesn't matter. I mean, we talking about a team winning every game by 20 points, 25 points. It's just ridiculous how well UConn is coached. I mean, they look phenomenal. Everybody is 6'4" to 6'8". And then the big man is 7 foot or over 7 foot or whatever. They're just phenomenal. Castle, Newton, Klingon. I call him Klingon. But yeah, man, I fully just the hell with the name on the back of the jersey and how many signature sneaker they have and endorsement deals and whatnot, or Twitter followers or how good they are online or social media. I'm looking at the basketball, the play, the determination, the defense, playing for one another, playing with one another. And like I said, several guys have risen to the occasion. So this this has been one of the better tournaments, in my opinion. So that's it, man. I just wanted to come in. Like I said, I was just trying to check out the new microphone setup, mainly. And go from there. I will be back with for those of you that are watching the hot show on FX, Shogun, episode 7 tonight. I want to say episode 7. I'll be back on here to do another one, and now that's what I did the last couple Shogun episode recaps with just the avatar on the screen because I was waiting on some stuff to come in the mail. But we'll be on there just like this, talking about Shogun episode 7. I don't have the title of that one in front of me. Look, let me get on out of here. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Peace.